Oh my goodness. I don't know how you're feeling. I am. I have the joy and the privilege of taking Simon and Joe out to Everest Inn later. Honestly, do pray for me. It's a tough one, but I'm going to push through. But wow, what I know that when I come back from there, I'm going to feel full. And I feel full now. Do you know, from being in here and this time today, I feel full. What I don't want to do is sit bloated somewhere. And I would love for us to not, I'm not talking about doing something now, don't panic, but I don't want us to be a people who sit bloated somewhere. And what I love about what Simon and Joe, she speaks to, Simon and Joe really have been leaning into is wanting to activate us and get us going. And Kat, wow, so much respect for Kat. I've been in similar positions before, and you want to punch the person. And then God really moves through you, and then you just cry, and then it's just a mess, really. And that's really how it happens. But just beautiful. What I would love you to do, I appreciate some of you are sat with spouses, that's okay. The reason I often move people away from their spouses is because I'm not saying people aren't honest with their spouses if they're sat with their spouses. I'm not saying they're not honest. But if I say, I would love you to turn to the person next to you and say, essentially the right hand of the board, what is it that God's been saying to me? Spouses can often just look at each other and go, should we talk about it at home? Yeah, let's talk about it at home. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. So the reason some of you spouses, I've seen you. I know how it works, and that's exactly what Nick and I would do. So if you are with your other half and you would like to talk to them, you are permitted to, but no copping out, okay? No copping out. But genuinely, we said, what do we want to hear from God? Now, I know we're not finished. I know this tonight. And tonight, don't forget, you can bring along anyone you want. The sort of ticket thing isn't relevant tonight. You can literally just bring anyone and everyone. But God has definitely been speaking. So the right-hand side of the board, I would love for you to just take a moment or two. You may speak to your spouse if they're here, and chat to them. Tell them, this is what I sense God has been saying, and this is what I've appreciated. Oh, do I let you have that question? Because people go straight to that question and they go, oh, I really enjoyed this. You're like, no, I didn't ask what you enjoyed. Because Kat didn't entirely enjoy her experience, but she's never going to forget it. So it's not always about enjoyment or your appreciation. And God, we used to do book reviews sometimes as part when we had discipleship year here, and we never asked the question, did you enjoy the book? I don't care whether you enjoyed the book. I literally couldn't care less, and Jesus couldn't really care less either whether you enjoyed the book. What I want to know is what happened as a result of you reading the book. That's a much better question. So what has happened? Here we go. What has happened as a result of you being here? What is it that God has stirred in you? What is it that God is doing in you? Even if you feel it's only just started or He's confirmed something, any of that stuff. Okay, you've got a good 5 minutes. So you've even got time to get up and find someone if you want to do it that way. All right, off you go. No chit chat. Have you not got anyone? Are you on your Todd? Paul will talk to you. Okay, if you can be wrapping up. Yeah. We are going to wrap up in a few minutes, but I was just standing here saying to the Lord, what do you want me to do? It's his time, not mine. And so I felt the Lord say to tell you about what some of my dreams are. And I don't mean dreams, I mean longings, dreams. I'm just going to move this. Yeah, do you mind, Chris? Keep going. I'll just get it out of the way. It's honestly really heavy, but it's awesome. I find let's go back a stage. Everyone is going to get sent the link for the sessions today, so that you can go back through them. If you were in any way spoken to, dealt with, prophesied over, then you can have the link, and you can go back and you can pull out whatever bit you want. We're not really fussed about it being shared, not being shared. That's not really the point. We purposely don't live stream, because to be entirely honest, we really want people in the room. And it's got nothing to do with people paying money to come, literally irrelevant. It's to do with wanting people in the room. People give more of themselves when they've dished out a few quid and they've made the effort to be in the room. And I know it's costly to be in the room. It's costly following Jesus. We get it. Like, we know that. I know that when I watch something online, I half watch it and I probably half do other things. And that's not what the Lives to the Cities are really about. So that's why we do it anyway. So there were those prophetic words that he gave, particularly over the church. So if you're not part of this church, you're so welcome to listen in. That's all fine, and I'm so glad you're visiting and part of this today. About 6 years ago, when we first came, we felt that we should give 10 years to this church and to being in Ashford and all that kind of thing. And we came up to that, and so it would have been 6 years ago. Yeah, we came up to that anniversary. And as we were nearing the anniversary, Nick was, and I'm not landing her in it in any way, Nick was in many ways quite keen to say, I just want to go off and travel the world. I just want to go. Not a not here thing, just a wanderlust, that thing. And I'm glad she didn't. I think she meant with me. I think that was the intention. And the girls, even the dog probably. But anyway, what ended up happening was we had a realization. You may have heard me a number of years ago, and it hasn't gone away, talk about a school, and I mean school, kids' school, not Bible school, and how much we long to create a school that is about learning how to do maths and learning how to follow Jesus. You have a prophecy class, and then you have a geography class, because if you teach children the way they should go when they're older, they won't depart from it, right? That thing. So we had that, and what Nick and I had this revelation, which she begrudgingly accepted, and she has moved on from this point. I promise I'm not landing her in it. She might be watching, I've just realised. Anyway, she might not be, she might be asleep, bless her. Anyway, we had this realisation that if you really want to build in such a way that it makes change, it normally takes years. And the challenge is, if you're willing to stay somewhere years, how do you not just become dry? And that's the challenge. So there's something exciting about fresh and new, and Nick and I are both starters. And we're good at starting, and our gift is that we're good at that. I never really wanted to run a church. God told us to come here and plant a church, but then God shifted gears and asked us to become different types of leaders. And instead, we're leaders that help to build rather than just start something. Nick and I have that gift. We can start something from nothing. And not many people have that gift. It's a great gift. I'm grateful for it. But then God says, right, now you need to keep it going. You're like, really, God? Can't I go and start something new? I love exciting new things. Nick, way worse than me at this. Anyway, so we ended up both making the agreement between us and before God that we would give at least another 15 to 20 years here in Ashford, which is partly why we recently moved, because there was an acceptance from us. Do you know what? We're not going anywhere. And now some of you might be like, oh. What can I say? There are other churches, people. It's not my fault, right? I do as I'm told, like hopefully you do as you're told. I do as I'm told. If he wants me somewhere else, I keep mentioning Cornwall to him. I've got various other nations that I'm willing to consider. And it's just silence. God is speaking to me through the silence that he offers me when I ask him about where we should be. And what I see God doing, we have moved. We have had to shift gears as leaders. And we're still learning, of course we are, but we've had to shift gears as leaders. We're not starters anymore. We're not trying to get a crowd together. We're not trying to just get enough snow together that we can start to roll it and actually make it into a snowman. What we're actually doing now is we're building. And so we had the whole phase of essentially gathering people together, which took a number of years. And then we went into COVID, and God trimmed and stripped a lot of that back. And we had a number of people leave through COVID, and they just never reappeared. Some people left really well. Some people left really badly. Whatever. Anyway, it's happened, and that's all okay. We come out of that, and God says, I want you to leave Vineyard. Yeah, but why, God? Because I said so. Yeah, but why else? Because I said so. And he never gave us any other reason. We got the 15 prophetic words that confirmed this is what God was saying, and so we were obedient to what God's saying. Remember, it's not your church, it's not my church, it's his church. We do as we're told. And so we left Vineyard, and God said, the measure of honor you use in how you leave will be directly related to the measure of blessing I will give you afterwards. And so we tried to leave as well as we could. We left kindly. We continued to pay money to Vineyard even after we left, and to just try and honor them. We never speak ill of Vineyard. I've got nothing ill to say about Vineyard. We're so grateful for that whole season. That's all that. So we come out of that, and what I didn't foresee, and this is an error on my part, is we went into a season that we call becoming, and we thought becoming Pneuma Church would basically mean changing our name at the Charity Commission, changing our bank cards, and changing the stickers over the doors. Well, now we're Pneuma Church. Only God said, if you remember, some of you will remember, the picture for us leaving the Vineyard was God said, I'm taking it. It was a picture of a completed jigsaw and God taking one piece out. And he said, I'm taking you from where you are because I want to transform you into a church I can use in my end time plans. Now, I don't use the expression end time plans. That was a good indication for me. This is probably God speaking. And we had all the prophetic words that confirmed it. And on the 1st of May, 2022, we officially became Pneuma. For those that were here, we put a line on the floor, do you remember? And we stepped across the line. And we brought basically everybody with us. Everybody came, which is amazing. And what we've really seen since then, it started before that, there was a stripping away of stuff. There was a stripping away of people, which is never something you particularly want, but it's just life. God can move people where he likes. And we also, God said, don't start anything new. And we didn't really start anything new. Instead, what we started to do was invest in encountering him. And we sort of renamed that season from becoming to encounter. And God said, you've got to keep meeting with me. The invitation is me. It's all about me. Never make it about church. It's all about me. It's about me. And can you encounter him only here? Of course not. You can encounter him in lots of places. That's not the point. And it doesn't have to be in a church service. Nevertheless, the God who is everywhere loves to turn up somewhere. And we've increasingly found over the last few years that where you would have a time of worship, a time of singing and just pouring out our affection towards him, that we used to hope that we would sense he was here. And now, if we've been going 5 minutes and I haven't sensed he's here, I'm looking around the room going, what's wrong? Because we always know when he's here. And there are times when we have had, and I'm kind of slightly pointing at the piano because that's where I sometimes am, but where you start to play. We've noticed it at Bible schools, like, God, we've got 10 minutes. And he says, I'm there. And literally you're 30 seconds in and like, whoa, wow. His presence is here. That's just glorious. I love it. And we're really trying to be disciplined and not overrun. But starting about 2 years ago, so we had the 2 years of like encounter and becoming, and God said, you're now entering a season where I want you to build. So I can see what God's doing. He's got us to stay here. By hook or by crook, he's got us to stay here. It's not that we don't want to be here. It's just a big wide world out there and lots of fun places to go and visit. But he said he wants us to stay here. And what he started doing is pulling team in. And I'm going to say this very clearly. I'm never interested in people coming from other churches unless God's bringing them in as reinforcements, or what I call them pillars. We can build on pillars. If God's sending pillars, great. That's okay, that's great. But we're not interested, especially like adding the 100 thing. I'm not interested in like just going to the other churches and the grass is greener over here, or just come over. Who cares? What a waste of time. That's not what we're interested in. But we see that God is building. So this school thing, it's brewing in the background. We want to do the school. I'm in conversations with someone at the moment as we're starting to explore pastored housing. We want, and it was so interesting, I hadn't talked to him about that at all, but when he gave that word last night about housing, now I know we are looking to start seeing how we can buy up housing, and then we put pastors, I don't mean us necessarily, although we could go and live in the houses, and we bring people in who need to be in there for a period of time. They need to be away from the rest of their life. They're probably recovering from something, and they're escaping from something, but unto something, if I may use the old-fashioned unto word. And we're exploring that at the moment. We don't want one house. We want a street of houses. We actually want an estate of houses, is actually what we want. So people who are fleeing domestic violence, people who are trying to give up alcohol, but they live literally over like an off license, or metaphorically or literally, they got whatever the situation is, we say, come and live here. And through daily prayer, through committed walking alongside you, we will help you walk into a place of freedom. That's what we want to go after. It's really interesting to hear as well Simon saying last night, the worship here, the sung worship we do here is growing. It's growing in its heft. It's carrying more weight. Do you understand what I mean? It's really hard to explain that. It's not about albums. It's not about that. I'm guessing we probably will. And there are more and more of our own homegrown songs that have been infiltrating the ranks that we don't make a big deal about. But we're not quite at album level, but nearly. And God might say, I want you to record an album. We'll record an album. He might say, I don't want you to record an album. We won't record an album. This is church. But there's something going on here. Nicola Neal, 5 5 years ago said there is a clarion call going out from here. There is a sound going out from here. God says, I want you to go to the nations. I want you to take what we're doing here and go out to the nations. I want you to take it to the nations. We're so embryonic in this. Like, what does that even look like? We've got no idea. And God's given us the imagery of we have a big water tank here, and then people are pulling hoses into other nations and squirting this water into other places. And it's just a picture to try and help us understand what that can look like. That's massive. Sometimes Annette and we sit down for a one-to-one, and we just go, how on earth? Like, God, what are you going to do among us? What are you going to do? And this church, here we're being told that Simon's had a dream that we're going to be given a place by the council. Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me. It just doesn't surprise me at all. This is his church. His hand is on it. He told us years ago, the Brunswick word, as we call it, 2017, I think, or 18. I think it was 17. When we were called out at the National Leaders Conference, 1,000 people, vineyard, and it's, what's his name? Julian Adams. And he says, does the word Brunswick mean anything to anyone in here? And we went, yeah. Right, stand up. I can nearly did an impression of him then, actually. But anyway, so there were a number of us there. We all stood up. And he said, this is what I see over you. And he said some things to me, like in front of everyone. Thanks for that. And he said some things over this church. And one of the key things he said was, you are going to punch above your weight. And I know if you picked this church up and moved it into a city, it would become big in a city, numerically big in a city. Ashford, it's slightly different. It works slightly differently, but God says you're going to punch above your weight in terms of influence and in terms of impact for this nation, another nation. So do I feel like, to be honest, I spend a lot of the time being either a bit bemused, sometimes I'm just a bit scared, that I'm just going to muck it up for everyone, because that's a bit how it feels, because there is no manual, literally. Church planting, thank you, I've got this. Starting something from new, I'm good. God says, no, I now want you to build. Like, what do you want us to do, God? And the problem is, God's not very interested in our good ideas. So it's not like we can go to a spreadsheet or we can go to a manual. There is no manual, because it's all about following him. And this is what he's trying to do with us. This is what he's doing. This is why we do these. Because we're desperately trying to follow him and saying, God, where do you want to take us? What do you want to do with us? So sometimes, forgive us if we look utterly incompetent. It's because we don't know always what he's saying. Because sometimes he tells you things way off. And other times he just says, just stay close. Just stay close. God, where are we going? Just stay close. God, I need a better answer than that. People are starting to ask me. Just stay close. We don't always know the answers. But that's what he's doing among us. And this church is going to continue to punch above its weight, not because of me, not because of the other glorious leaders we have, not because of you, but because of him. And that's what he has said about this church. And this church is going to grow, not because of me, not because of the glorious leaders around me, not because of you, but because of him. And there is going to be a clarion call that is starting to go out from here. We need to work better on our live stream, but we are working on it. I promise you, we are working on it. And again, it's not because of me. It's got nothing to do with me, almost nothing to do with me, almost nothing to do with the leaders, almost nothing to do with you. It's a God appointment. This is what he has decided. And our job is just to say, yes, boss. Yes, Dad, whatever you want. We'll just do whatever you want. We're just loose change in your pocket. So that's our dream for the future. I want to hear in worship, one day I dream of hearing chains hit the floor in worship. I'm talking thick chains that hold ships in, that are crisscrossing people, holding them, and one word from God, and they smack to the floor. And can you hear that sound now? Like in your head type thing. I want to hear that in here. That's what I want. I imagine that there will come a time, increasingly, where people they wheel the sick in here. Been given a terminal diagnosis. The doctors have done everything they can. We heard that you might be able to help. And we basically set up a prayer doctor's surgery thing. That's what we're after, right? I want people coming past and they stop and come in and say, what must I do to be saved? I want people running in saying, I've been battling drugs for years. Can you help me? People who are lonely, people who are shame-filled, and they come in and they find a place of refuge and they find a family and they find freedom because we find him. He's the only asset this place has got. Do you get what I mean by that? It's him. It's all about him. And so I'm excited genuinely for the years ahead. I spend a lot of my time feeling quite drained, and I've just got to learn how to handle it better, because the bigger we get, in some ways the harder it is to carry. And the hardest thing I find is motivating people, which is you do a lot of it when you church plant. That's all right. Everyone's really excited. They turn up at everything. They're super excited. You could say, we're going to open an envelope, and everyone's like, whoa, and everybody comes. It's brilliant, you know. It changes as it develops. But that's okay, because there's a grace for it, and I'm so grateful to the team we have around us. And we have loads of people here who do so many things, and you haven't even got a label or a job title, but you do so much. And we're just a family on a mission, and we are going to bring life to the nations. That's what we've been told to do. And we would just do it, I will, until the day I die. And I'm really grateful you're on this journey with us. So let's just stand, we're going to pray, and then we're going home. Well, I'm not going off for curry. Someone say Chris. Everest, sorry, yes. I hear you, Lord. Everest in. I thank you, God, for every single person here. Doesn't matter what our job title is. It doesn't matter whether we're on staff here, not on staff here, whether we don't even belong here and we just turned up. Could even be some people here like, I don't even know where I am. You know, like we don't really know God. But I thank you for every single person that, as it says with Esther, for such a time as this in history, you are bringing us together to impact the nations. One person at a time, one nation at a time, one nationality at a time. That this would be a church who loves well. Who, as Simon said earlier, where you have shown so much mercy to people and continue to show so much mercy. So you will be a church that sees. And God, we are grateful for everything you're doing among us. And we never want to take it for granted that you really love us and you really love doing stuff with us and you invite us to participate in your great plan to reach all your kids. We pray for a blessing on Simon and Joe and what they have brought us this weekend. We're looking forward to tonight. I pray for people's energy levels, that they'll just feel refreshed. They'll feel able to be here, to give of themselves. And I pray, God, against a duvet that may at any time rest over us as a church. At night, it's all good. But as a church, we want to throw off the duvet. We want to throw off the sense of comfort. We want barbed wire on our chairs. Maybe we wire the electric parts of the chair up to a little 12-volt battery. I hear you, Lord. I hear you. I felt like the Lord, I pictured only on some chairs, and it's hidden underneath so you don't know. Yes, Lord. You're right, that is funny. Anyway. Amen. Yeah, there we go. I'll see you tonight, 7:30 we start, so anytime after 7, be great to see you. God bless, guys.